decimal session. And how about today for Antarctica? Antarctica. And let's discover some less known facts that were to be known. And here we have a few maps of Antarctica. Alright, so here in the middle it's the so-called South Pole. South Pole. Right. Where all the meridians are connecting the meridian 0 with the meridian 180. Right. What we have here, what we can discover, there are a few areas worth to be known. One of them is the Graham Land and the Alexander Island. Alexander Island. Antarctic region, it's divided in a few areas, like it's here, the southern pole of inaccessibility, the Trans-Antarctic Mountains, which is a chain of mountains Marie-Byrd Land, and the Ellsworth Land, and the Coates Land. On the other side of the 0-degree meridian, we have Queen Moan Land, Mac Robertson, and Derby Land. And here on the coast, on the other coast, we have Prince Elizabeth Land, Wilhelm II Land, Queen Mary Land, Wilkes Land, and Adelie Land, George V Land, and Victoria Land. Right. And I almost forgot the Waits Land. So these are the areas of Antarctica, but let's study it a bit further. In the second picture, we have the research bases location in Antarctica. And here, some of the countries have established some permanent or temporary research bases. But we're gonna start with some facts about Antarctica, right? And the first one is that international cooperation. Antarctica is governed by an Antarctic Treaty System, which was signed by 54 countries. So 54 countries signed the Antarctic Treaty System. The treaty sets aside Antarctica as a scientific preserve, bans military activity, and prohibits mineral mining. So these bases here, they are no military, so we have no military. And no mineral, no mining. Right. What another interesting fact is that Antarctica has no official time zone. Instead, various research stations from here use their time zone of their home country or the time of their nearest supporting nation. So, for example, Vostok, which is Russian, it used the time zone from the Russian time zones. That was just an example. Let's talk about the ice sheet size. Well, Antarctica is the 5th largest continent, and it's covered an area of 5.5 million square miles. Or 14 million square kilometers. And now a very interesting fact is that it contains around 60% of the world's fresh water. So 60% of the fresh water it's held here in Antarctica in the ice sheets. Another fact is that the population of Antarctica varies depending on the season, with around 1,000 to 5,000 people present during the summer months. Well, the population drops significantly during the harsh winters. Good. Midnight sun. During the austral summer, Antarctic summer, some areas of Antarctica experience daylight for several weeks continuously. And during the austral winter, there is continuous darkness for an extended period of time. It's like the polar nights in the northern hemisphere. Good. Okay. Another interesting fact is the subglacial lakes. Well, yes, Antarctica has numerous subglacial lakes. Subglacial lakes. And the Lake Vostok is one of the largest. These lakes are particularly interest to scientists studying extreme environment and the possibility of undiscovered life beneath the ice sheet. Icebergs. Well, icebergs are very common in Antarctica, breaking off from the ice shelves and glaciers. The largest iceberg ever recorded was named B-15. Well, that's not an American bomber plane, it's the name of the iceberg, and it was about the size of Jamaica. That was huge. Okay, what about the temperatures? Well, actually, in Antarctica it's colder than on the North Pole, and it's the coldest place on Earth. The lowest recorded temperature is minus 128 degrees Fahrenheit or minus 89 degrees Celsius, and was measured at the Soviet Union's Vostok station, which is right here. So minus 89 degrees Celsius at the Vostok station. Good. Alright, when you think about Antarctica, I think you get in mind some penguins, which are a few of the animals that are living there. Well, Antarctica is home to the iconic emperor penguins, which are the largest penguin species. They have adapted to harsh conditions of the Antarctic winter by breeding on the sea ice. And now a very interesting fact, the ozone hole. Well, the ozone layer hole, the ozone hole, which forms over Antarctica during the southern hemisphere spring, was first identified in the 1980s. The ozone layer plays a crucial role in protecting life on Earth from harmful ultraviolet radiation. So during the springtime, an ozone hole is forming in the or a hole is forming in the ozone layer over Antarctica. Well, even if it's almost completely covered in ice, there is a volcano in Antarctica, and the name is Mount Erebus. Yes, and it's a volcano. And it's active. It is considered the southernmost active volcano on Earth, and its summit is covered by ice. Right. So, some of these facts highlight the extreme conditions of unique wildlife and significance of Antarctic on global scientific research. Well, the continent remains a captivating and challenging environment for exploration. But now let's switch to the second chapter, the less known facts. Well, we have some less known facts. How about the largest desert? Yes, you heard, the largest desert. Antarctica is the driest and windiest continent on Earth. Despite being covered in ice, it is also the largest desert by definition, because it receives very little precipitation, so we can consider it as a desert. Well, this one it's not covered in sand. Instead, it's covered in ice sheet. Ice thickness in Antarctica. Well, the ice thickness can reach over 2 miles on in some Antarctic zones. This ice contains about 60%, like I said, of the world's fresh water. There is no indigenous population in Antarctica, and the Antarctic Treaty, signed by multiple countries, designates the continent as a scientific preserve and bans military activity. Well, how about plants? Well, also lack of native plants. Antarctica is almost entirely devoid of vascular plants, so no plants. The only plant life includes lichens and algae. These hardy organisms have adapted to survive in extreme cold and harsh conditions. Ice-free valleys. Despite being covered in ice, Antarctica has some ice-free valleys, such as dry valleys. These areas have extreme low humidity and almost no precipitation. Right. Okay. Now, like I said, Antarctica is a place governed by Antarctic Treaty System, and it's not divided among countries in a traditional sense. The Antarctic Treaty was signed in 1959 and entering into force in 1961 established Antarctica as a scientific preserve. The treaty has been a successful example of international cooperation. Well, the territorial claims are suspended. The Antarctic Treaty explicitly suspends territorial claims. The territorial claims made by 7 countries. Those 7 countries who are making territorial claims are New Zealand, Australia, France, Norway, United Kingdom, Brazil, Argentina, Chile, and that's all of them. They have made claims, but to the treaty that it's still running, these territorial claims are suspended. Well, the treaty, the Antarctic Treaty, promotes international scientific cooperation between the countries. It designates the continent as one zone for scientific investigation and exchange information. So, research only. treaty distinguishes between consultative and non-consultative parties. Consultative parties are those involved in decision-making process regarding the management of Antarctica. Non-consultative parties are invited to attend meeting but do not have decision-making. The Protocol on Environmental Protection of Antarctic Treaty was adopted in 1991 and designates Antarctica as a natural reserve with measures to protect the environment and conserve the living resources. Well, while there are scientific research stations operated by various countries, in Antarctica, the continent itself it's not divided. It's not divided between sovereign territories. Rights and international cooperation and assuring that Antarctica is exclusively for peaceful and scientific purposes. Right. And these were some of the interesting and less known facts about Antarctica continent, which, by the way, beside that is not containing any sovereign land. It's considered a continent due to its massive size. I hope you enjoyed this video and thank you again for watching. Until next time, I wish you all the best. Bye bye.